Lowdown was all vibe. It's all vibe. It's all about, creating an atmosphere with the music and a tone, you know?
Yeah. So maybe we use that as a live example because obviously it's recent and I've been really enjoying watching it, but also especially thinking of you in mind and just really curious. So could you walk us through like from the beginning of being commissioned to work on that, kind of the briefing, as much as you can share, obviously, the briefing and then the research process. And what do you mean by being on the nose? If you could throw that in as well.
Yeah. So, well, Sterling and I, who created the show, he had told me about this project because we worked on a series called Reservation Dogs about Native American teenagers in Oklahoma. So we had already kind of had this working relationship, but he had told me about this one, and he said, this is about somebody that I knew. Um, and he sent me some YouTube videos of his friend who he had based the show on. And so I kind of had an idea, okay, this is about this guy. And we are in this guy's world. So it really became about trying to make the music reflect what he would have listened to, basically. I mean, that's
Mhm.
pretty much what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
it was important to Sterling to have all Tulsa, Oklahoma artists, and Sterling is from Tulsa. The show is set in Tulsa. Um, and so we dove into that. Him and I already had, like, we'd already discussed from Reservation Dogs artists that we loved from Tulsa,
Mhm.
Lee Hazelwood being one of them, Leon Russell, JJ Cale. It was all this kind of stuff that him and I both just already loved. So we connected on that. And yeah, so I get the scripts for that. There's certain songs that he has written into the script that he wants that we know, like, okay, this is what he wants. Sometimes you don't always get what you want. You don't always get what you want. And this happens all the time, and it could be budget reasons, it could be that the songwriter or artist has died and they don't have any family, and finding the rights is really, really difficult, which happened a couple times on Sterling's show because, of course, we're picking music by these very marginalized artists and people and then who had like drug problems and whatever, and who knows who they sold their publishing to or whatever. So there was stuff like that happened on this show where you have to sort of creatively come up with other ideas. So that happens a lot.
So what kind of time frame and budget would you typically be given for something like that? Ballpark.
The Lowdown from start to finish is about 7 months where he is shooting it, and then we're in post production. So I'm reading the scripts, while he's shooting. I'm reading the scripts, which is happening right now because we're on season 2. So I'm reading the scripts and doing the thing of mapping out. Okay, I think there's going to be music here. There's going to be a needle drop here. Needle drop is a song. So I'm starting to already map that out. And with his show, because it's so fast, it's a much faster process than other shows. I've got to be super on top of it. Like I've got to be ready to have as ready as I can possibly be to be able to have the music sorted. So he's shooting, I'm getting scripts, and then in the summer, like July, is when we'll be in post production. And then that's when you're editing and you're putting in the music, and the composer gets involved, and the composer is making the music. So, and then from there, it's like we're delivering episodes each week, and then they start airing each week. So
Wow.
we're working while the shows are airing. So there's
Wow. And
pretty
is it your job to work with the director and the composer to determine like how many seconds worth of music? How do you know at what point what you're negotiating for with this, the music source?
It's different on each show, but typically what happens is that the first people that get their hands on the the show are the editors. So the film editors, are have their hands on it, and they're putting music in because they're cutting the music, which sometimes can be really frustrating for the composer and the music supervisor, because then we have to come in and try and match what they've done. They've put in what they call temp score in, which is like they take score from other shows or whatever and start putting in music, and they'll go, this is where we need score.
Yeah.
And so then the composer goes in and says, okay, I'm going to do it like this. I'm not going to do it like what you have in here, but I'll create something for this scene. So that's kind of the process in terms of that. Or if something doesn't have score on it, if the editors haven't done that, we all sit down and we talk about it and we go, okay, this should be score and this should be a song, and maybe we don't need any score here, maybe we don't need a song here. So that's called like a spotting session, where we sit down and we look through each scene of the episode, and we kind of go through where there should be music or where there shouldn't be music.